Welcome, dirty peasants, to episode 71 of Wartwood Gazette, the Amphibia podcast. This week we'll be covering. This is part 2 of our coverage of Marcy's journal, and this will be the portion of the book describing Marcy's time with Anne and the Planters. I'm your host, the Maticon, and join me today we have Impact.
Yo, what's good, everybody?
And Nick.
What's up, y'all?
All right, thanks guys for coming on. It is February 2nd, 25th, 2023. So the news that I can think of recently at this time was that...
Wait, you mean 25th, right? You said the second.
Oh, sorry, 25th. February 25th, 2023. So I know I think a couple of days ago or last week, Matt mentioned in a Twitter post that the Marcy's journal sold very well, and he just threw a poll into the Wild West asking whether we'd like an art book or a graphic novel.
You really need to give us a warning on that because it just jumped the fandom. Yeah. And the manga won, so
I think hopefully if the graphic novel itself does well, too. Maybe I don't know. Maybe they'll just open the door eventually to the art book or something.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because I was definitely more excited for the idea of getting an art book, but if it's just another success, which I'm betting it probably will be, right? Boom, right? Just we'll eventually get there. Fingers crossed, though.
Yeah, I don't know, man. I felt like there was. I don't really feel like I need any extra stuff in Amphibia's canon anymore. I feel pretty satisfied. I can't really think of anything, even with the stuff in the journal that the show that it adds to the ending and stuff. I'm not oh man, we need extra content with any of the characters. Even if it was the frogs, maybe I'm good with that. But with the trio, I'm fully
You're satisfied.
I'm done with their stories, yo.
Yeah, we need to see that new continent. I need that new continent in Amphibia. I've seen the fan base has just been teasing everyone with all this just the potential content. I'm always seeing fan art of them on a ship, and just a tiny bit away from embarking on the new continent. And it's please, I need someone please just start doing this. I need it.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Either way, oh, dumb you go.
No, I voted for art book.
Yeah, same.
Art book stamps in the house.
Wait, Matt's doing a Q&A? So Chuck just posted in in the chat
we need to talk about that too.
A Q&A about Marcy's journal. Okay.
Yeah.
Tomorrow.
Q&A?
So not tomorrow, sorry. This next month.
Yeah.
Oh, but by then we'll probably have
crazy.
covered the journal. That's okay. We'll probably just bring it up in the next recording.
Yeah. It's pretty sweet though. I think man, I don't know. I will say it's crazy just how Amphibious popularity just skyrocketed towards the end, because apparently they said they sold out, and then they had to sort of increase the venue or something, and now they're selling tickets again. So it's wow, it's definitely I don't know, it's just definitely crazy, because it's never at the start would I have imagined that we'll be getting an official fan material, official fan material that's good, right? You know what I mean? That's not just Funko Pops or something or sorry, not official fan material, but just official show material. Say that, yeah, official show material. It's I don't know, it's just crazy.
Yeah, it feels like it feels like Matt said, like, since the journal sold so well, there's talks going on with like
Yeah.
adding more for Amphibia's story, and man, I'm not like, I don't know.
You got
I have to. I'm a little scared, a little bit.
a little,
Like
a
I'm
little scared. Who knows?
Yeah.
Yo, like, okay,
Who knows?
I want I wanted that art book, but I know like if a graphic novel sold well, then maybe we get an art book after. But like, I feel like if you put an art book with a bunch of like different concepts and whatever, the fandom will like use that and kind of like come up with like lots of fan art and whatever, and that would be nice. But if you do like a story, like a graphic novel, it's like people will want some very like specific things and like it's easy for me right now to say like, oh, I want the graphic novel and I want the art book. The graphic novel like might not satisfy me, but then if the graphic novel is about like poly post series, then yeah, then I become
Yeah.
then all my rationale like just like throw out the window. I'll just buy like 5 copies just to support that.
Like yeah. Like if only that just said specifically what the graphic novel would be about. Like, please. Like, if he said the planners, I would have been like, all right, art book, you can wait. Like, I would have been like, you can wait, you can wait. I'd push it back.
I don't know. I guess it's just like, I guess because I've kind of moved on from this show. Like I'm not that much involved into like community stuff. I'm more like soft into it. Like I'll check Twitter like every like 5 months and see what they're doing and then like leave. So like not 5 months, but every like 3 months or so. So it's like, I don't know. I was just sort of okay with how Amphibia ended. And I guess we're not at the end of the journal yet, but I think like my concerns come from the end of the journal and
Yeah, I heard, yeah. No, go ahead.
with the
Yeah, the little
the
tease at the end.
yeah, like I don't want the like I don't want that tease to be like
We'll
oh
see.
Yeah,
We
we'll
gotta
get
see.
there.
We'll see. We'll see. We'll see. We'll see.
Okay, so I think we'll probably discuss that set of news like in future recordings for sure because it's fun to speculate. Um, but for now, I think we'll just get into the second part of our coverage, I guess, starting with entry 51. And this is like now we're at the events of Marcy at the Gates. We have Marcy talking about the barbarians and the threat they pose to Utopia. Uh, Marcy meeting the triple B for the first time. Branson, Bartley, and Blair. Those three like little newts in robes and the ones who
yeah.
kind of inspired the opening of this podcast.
I think like I think like Triple B was a name only Marcy thought of.
Yeah, it
But it's
was.
interesting because yeah, because Andreas is eventually going to use that name for all three of them in FLX. So it's interesting that she got that Andreas got that name from Marcy. So it wasn't like it was all they were always Triple B and like Marcy got that from Andreas. No, Marcy gave that name. If you know what I mean.
Yeah.
Like yeah.
Yeah. Honestly, I can't tell where like the coincidences. No, it's just crazy for me because it's just like how well planned was that relationship? Because it's like even that aspect you could just say like, oh hey, look at that. Andreas totally stole that from Marcy. Like it's I don't know. I don't know.
I don't know.
I
I think like Andreas and like Marcy's relationship is like I think there is a lot of depth to it, but it's also very easy for like I don't think it's that hard to fill in holes and make up things if that makes sense. because there isn't a lot of concrete stuff specifically. You know what I mean? Like we understand their dynamic in the show, but like
Yeah.
the details don't matter. You know it, and that's all you really need to know. Like, but the journal
Yeah, that's
gets to
true.
be like, hey, like here's these extra details and blah blah blah. So
Yeah.
I totally see.
And like she's in the middle of like writing the solution she has that we learned in the episode, but then she gets cut. She cuts herself off to write about like the frog family that's like pinned down by
Yeah.
barbarians, but she's like writing this down still.
Yeah.
And then
Yeah.
then we
She's
get
still gone.
yeah, and then we get like the next page of like Marcy discovering
Here we
Anne
go.
and like
Beautiful.
yeah, like Anne's got her own little spread and okay, so apparently she wrote all of this while she was talking to them.
Yeah, no, God, I still remember like all those fandom memes where like what I mean they'll put the pages next to Marcy just like casually writing in the those are hilarious. They're fucking hilarious.
honestly, I buy that Marcy would write all this.
Yeah.
So
Like if she'd write all that straight face, like that was hilarious.
Yeah, and like Marcy's like overjoyed to meet Anne again. Yeah, we get the I think everything in the journal on this page kind of like is the same stuff she was saying in the episode about like the found family trope and
yeah.
yeah, I'm just looking for anything but on the Anne page. Okay.
Found family trope, but yeah, it's classic.
And then
Gotta love it.
I think this page and the next page with Hop Pop and Polly were like the first preview pages we got of the journal.
I thought the first pages, like the first like literally entry 1 was like the first previews we got, unless that was a leak. I think it might have been. I'm not sure, but I remember us seeing the first pages first, and then this Anne stuff later. That's my
Yeah, I think the first
so I
few
remember.
pages were part of like the not iTunes. Sorry. the Amazon the the Amazon pages that got leaked. And like there was like an older like there was a unfinished version of those that were released and they changed to the final
Oh, yeah.
version. But yeah, I think these pages came out a bit later. Because I do remember we got the Anne page, we got the Hop Hop and Polly page, but we didn't get the Sprig page. So I'm not sure
Yeah.
when Matt revealed those, but yeah, like we have this page about like Marcy like jotting down about the planners and like I love all those like notes where it's like we know like I know Marcy's kind of like just like like hypothesizing, but like the writers have like the context of like the whole show, so it's like there's like a note about where the planter's parents and like he's very protective. Wonder why.
Yeah, Marcy is like not meta, but like Marcy kind of sometimes feels like she's like an avenue for like the writers to talk about the show, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
Like Marcy's a character who can kind of figure out tropes and certain things about people because she's a nerd, so she can figure this stuff out relatively quickly. So like it just allows Adam and Matt to be like, this is sort of like have their voice in the show without like by talking through Marcy. There we go. Yeah.
Yeah, and we have the page with Sprig. And it's like, oh, Sprig's very suspicious of me and
My God.
I mean, Sprig made that very obvious in the episode though, so that's fine.
Yeah, like I don't know, just these pages, like there's just something about them. But yeah, it was really funny.
I like this edition though, because like I feel like in the episode it's not exactly clear how Marcy thinks about like
Sprig.
Sprig being, yeah, like I always thought maybe Marcy wasn't noticing it, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
But I feel like that in of itself kind of contradicts her character in the episode too, because Marcy is paying attention to the planters. She is like she's noticing, oh, like Sprig and Anne have like a really close connection. Anne really cares about Sprig a lot. Like, so I like this addition to the journal where we're getting a lot more of just Marcy's like, I guess like more introspective thoughts that the show doesn't have the time for. Like I feel like you can figure these things out pretty much. Like they aren't out of character, but they're like extra like this is what the character is thinking. This is like what they're about, essentially. It's making it concrete at this point. So.
Yeah. And yeah, and Marcy really wants Sprig to like her. And yeah, she talks about how they have a lot in common. Uh one day I'm gonna use this like paragraph as like in my Spider Sprig defense.
Spider Sprig. Oh my god, the connection! The connection!
Another battle for another day.
Prepping for the war.
And yeah, and she talks about Anne too, and like
in her hair.
yeah,
healthy.
talking about
She's
the
still wearing
twig.
her ratty school uniform. Her ratty school uniform. Dang, Marcy.
Oh,
I mean, like it was like
yeah, I mean that's true. Oh, I love the fucking. I love the song where it's like, Anne, no, there's so much disgust. I love that. There's so much disgust. Anne's iconic curly hair be creating what? A static charge that attracts all this swampy debris. Maybe.
That was hilarious. That's funny.
But then Marcy does bring up the fish out of water look it gives her.
Again, Marcy's very meta. Yeah. Yeah, I love like her mentioning like the twig would fall out, but then magically it would reappear.
Yeah, like another one would disappear. My God. And like the fact she was disturbed by all of it, just like just how like the leaf keeps ending up there. Like my God, yeah, it's just great because I think like you said, in fact, like that's just another one of the great parts of the journal, just like how the level of self awareness, you know what I mean? They're able to take in the fandom and just plug it to the journal. Yeah, it's really awesome to see.
Yeah, because I know Matt was like. No, it wasn't the twig in her hair, but it was like Matt would be so surprised that people don't like that Anne only has one shoe.
Yeah,
like somebody about that.
Yeah, that was hilarious.
I love them poking fun about that. That's great. Yeah.
Okay, so we were talking about sorry for the technical difficulties. You didn't hear you didn't experience it, but what happened was that my internet cut out. But it's back. So we were discussing the point of like after the events of Marcy the Gates, where I think Anne and Marcy have their conversation about Sasha, and we're getting the context. Okay, maybe Marcy heard about Grime before, but she's not sure if they're the same Grime. Maybe it's a common name.
Oh,
sure. Okay.
Yeah.
I you know what? I'll give Marcy this. Like,
so funny.
I mean, I feel like she knows it's probably the same Grime, but like, I don't know. I think that's a. I was gonna say that was a fair like question to ask because like, I mean, Grime. Yeah, for all she knows, Grime could just be like Bob or Bill of Amphibia, like to a certain degree. So even though there's probably more like. I don't know, because I feel like Marcy would think more about that. You know what I mean? If she thought it was like the same Grime that Yunnan was trying to get. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
I don't know.
And like Marcy's kind of like surprised. Oh, like Sasha always means well, but she can be a bit bossy. But like what changed for Anne to stand up to her
Good.
and then
What's
and
changed? Ha ha ha.
and then I know, oh my Nick, I know you mentioned this before the recording, but Marcy has that visual interpretation, like that visual aid
Oh
about the
yeah,
fight between
Yeah.
Sasha and Marcy. Or sorry, Sasha and Anne, and
It's great. Okay.
it's like God. You just the one like what kind of anime she was watching before she made that. Like you you can tell where her inspirations come from.
Yeah, because keep in mind that Marcy doesn't have a ton of details about the fight either. Like the only thing she knows is like they fought with swords and then there were some explosions and then they separated. Like she doesn't even know who won the fight either. Like so like yeah, like I don't know. I like what she did here. She didn't even like draw them in armor or anything. It's just with their
Yeah.
screaming.
Like they gave what do they give Sasha like a katana? She doesn't have a katana, right? Yeah, she
yeah, it's a
does.
katana. Yeah,
Like
I didn't even notice that. Yeah.
and the
you
way
know,
she
to see that with
describes
Kiki,
the
she's like
issue is like problem is crossed out, issue is crossed out, little snag.
a little snag, just a little
Yeah.
snag from explosions. What do you imagine the fight was like? Like Marcy, don't be doing that.
it's
Our friendship is
it's
the most. Oh, go ahead.
oh, I was gonna say it's so interesting though because Marcy like recognizes that Anne has been thriving in Amphibia, but can't connect the dot that her growing as a person is
Yeah,
gonna cause conflict with Sasha. Like
yeah.
oh my god, like I get the vibe that she knows, but she's ignoring it. Like I don't know, like I feel like Marcy is a bit more self-aware than she makes her out like to be. That she knows like to a certain degree that Anne growing would cause conflict with Sasha, but she doesn't want to admit it. You know what I mean? Like because if she does, then the whole relationship she's trying to keep fucking sucks. You know? So yeah, I don't know.
No, definitely. Like, it's it's definitely just I don't know. Yeah, it's just I don't know. It's just crazy because it's like obviously Amphibia isn't like the first show to try and handle like a sort of toxic friendship like that, but I don't know. And I mean, it's like it definitely just feels like one of the show's biggest mainstays. So yeah, I don't know. It's always interesting to think about, talk about, just ponder about. Like,
Yeah.
God, I don't know. I also just like how Jesus Christ, like big ass letter. She's like, I swear it. We'll find Sasha and make things right. I swear it. Like, whew. I okay, Marcy. Okay.
yeah.
Yeah, and yeah, and she's talking about like prioritizing the friendship, getting it back to normal, and not split up. And I think we'll probably talk about that aspect of the journal like later on. Um,
Yeah.
Entry 55 is the
Peak. Just the peak of the journal.
um yeah, like this is the events of scavenger hunt, so we get like the poly diagram, Tatus Paulus and biggest burgers. And then Marcy talks about Polly's legs, and next page we get the Strawrus Walrus, and
Wow.
They use LMAO. Like
Oh man, yeah.
I wasn't expecting that. That was funny.
LMAO. Wait, holy crap! Yeah, they really did. Wow. Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
Like,
Wow. I mean, I wow.
and
Anna's the greatest. I missed her so much. Just calm down, Mars. Yeah. She can make anyone laugh and smile almost no effort at all. I wish I could be more like what's like this sad bomb hitting us all of a sudden. I'm just reading the journal and she just drops that. Whoa. She's a chill. There,
yeah, she's talking about how
the
much Anne has
straws, yeah.
grown, more confident and sure of herself, and insecurity debuffs removed, and all her main stats boosted. Why is Marcy such a gamer?
I don't know.
She's a
It's
nerd,
like she's got
yo. She's living her best life right now. She's gonna take it.
Insecurity debuffs. Insecurity debuffs.
What?
What is wrong with this girl? What is wrong with her? Oh my god.
I mean, she has 2 friends. Maybe that's why.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh my god.
My god. My god. Like she's been here for too. Like this, she was here for too long, bro. She was like, it was like only 3 months, and she was already doing this shit. Jesus Christ. And I hope this isn't the way she talked back home. Like, Christ.
Okay.
There's no way, right? Oh my god.
So we get the rest of the episode where it's like the scavenger hunt, and
oh yeah, this is cool. This is cool.
This is interesting because like I don't think I always got the vibe that like the puzzlegram like thing was something Andreas and Marcy always did in their time in Utopia. I don't think we ever hear about that in the journal, right? Like,
yeah, we don't.
There's never a single time. Yeah, it's weird. Like, it's because that's always what gave me the idea that Marcy's time in Utopia was sort of artificial. I'm glad the journal kind of emphasizes that it isn't. I think it's actually better, in my opinion, that Marcy gets to succeed because of her own gifts. And it also keeps the idea that she isn't challenged in Utopia that much. It's really when she gets to the first temple in Wartwood where the show really starts like testing her a little bit. So, but I don't know. Now it's just like a one-time thing that maybe Marcy didn't just record, but like it's a little odd like that. This is like a one-time thing Marcy and Andreas have done. I still think they added enough to their relationship in the journal that it works, but like again, it's not a retcon. It's just like it makes me think of the puzzlegram thing a little differently now. You know?
Yeah, because looking for that. Yeah, I don't think it mentioned. Yeah, I don't think it mentioned specifically that it did. Yeah. I'm looking like closer. Yeah, I don't think they mentioned it at all. I mean, yeah, it was.
No.
Yeah, I always guessed it was just like Andrew sort of just trying to have fun of Marcy. It was always like the sort of like their routine, but I guess it's just like. I mean, I don't know. I mean, maybe it's just like a thing they overlooked or something. I'm guessing.
Yeah, because like it added a lot to like Andreas's relationship with Marcy paralleling his relationship with Leaf. You know what I mean? Like how they would always kind of make up games and stuff, or like with the letters and you know what I mean, like with the glasses and stuff. They would always essentially be playing games with each other. They'd be goofing around all the time. That now it's like now they only have done that one time with each other in this story, so it kind of it doesn't remove that part of it, but like well, it kind of does. Yeah, like it kind of I'll commit to that. Like it does kind of remove that parallel a bit to it. So I don't know.
Yeah, and if we had a page earlier on the journal where it's like where we get like the puzzlegram thing, then maybe it might have like helped like keep
like,
the show's I guess canon.
Yeah, like I mean, it's not like a big deal. This isn't like something that like makes you go, "Oh my god, Marcy's arc is terrible." Like no. But it's like it does make it's not a retcon, but it does make me change that thought process on the show from before. So
Yeah, and I think they kind of skip over the I guess the resolution at the end of Scavenger Hunt. They just go straight to the planners check-in stuff where we get Marcy does bring up like the similarities between Anne and Andreas, and very briefly
Yeah, I'm telling you, bro. She was like the earliest Andreas parallel stan. Like I'm telling you, my God.
Oh, and then Marcy finds out about the box and like, yo, this shit's scary. Like the way she's talking about how it's like, um, home could be any like wherever we want it to be, and no such thing as distance. It's like,
I always, I always pictured that as like, because if Marcy moves and she has the box, right, she can just go to Anne and Sasha whenever she feels like it. That was my interpretation.
yeah, that was my interpretation too. It's just like, it's like you're seeing Marcy like coming up with the way of like avoiding her arc.
Jesus Christ. You just, yeah, I'm reading some of this stuff. It's like it's just like it's making me cringe. Like, look at Marcy. What is wrong with her? Like,
Well, I mean, like, hold on,
no, it's just no, no. There's just a part where she's like, I could feel something deep within him. I have your so and then she's like, oh, I'm completely misjudging them because I'm reading posts and never been on forte. It's like,
Wait, what are you saying? Wait, what? What is
Nick,
she?
what did you say? I didn't hear it.
It's like entry 59. She's all like, I can feel something deep within him. A heavy regret of some kind. And then she's like, all caps. She's like, or I'm completely misjudging him because reading folks has never been my forte. It's like, what? How does she do this? How does she keep doing this to herself? I can't stand it.
Like, oh, okay. So you're talking about the part where it's like, Andrews and Marcy are kind of like they go to like the archive and whatever.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, and so okay, so she did know about like, so Andrews did tell her about like royal, like at least Royal Garden and Palace Gardener. So he was pretty like,
yeah,
he opened up a bit.
He was,
to her,
yeah,
like,
bro was spilling. He was spilling.
yeah, I really like that addition because like it felt like what's okay. I think I mentioned this in the first recording, but like it's interesting that Marcy kind of has all the tools in the story to be the main character, if that makes sense. Like she knows about the ancient technology in Amphibia. She knows about the alms. She knows that Andreas had a falling out with his friends. It's not that hard for her to like. If Marcy didn't get stabbed in the chest and shoot colors, she probably could have figured like all the shit out in the plot and probably won the story. Like if you think about it, like she has all the tools to do it. Like yeah.
Yeah,
No,
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 like,
it's
I think that's definitely like an interesting observation because it's like, yeah, no, I think like, yeah, there's definitely like there's just like, how do we say it? Because it's like, I'm not done because yeah, I think there's definitely like enough material to like make something out of this, but it's like, I don't know. I don't know. I had a thought form, but now I lost it.
yeah, like I'm gonna try to save my opinions of Marcy in season 3. Maybe I'll save that for the retrospective. But like to keep it short, like I feel like what's the word? Like I mean, I wouldn't want her to do that. Like I feel like I'll save that opinion. I'll save my Marcy hot takes um later on.
Ooh,
All right. um,
ooh.
and Marcy kind of talks about how like whatever happened between Andrews and his friends, she won't let it happen to her, Sasha,
Yeah,
and Anne.
sure. She even got in the bolded text too. My God.
Okay, and the next page, it's like talking about how they found like the book about the temples and sitting on a pedestal, like Anne just had to plant that shit down, like
Yeah.
Oh, I had a
like perfectly his
Yeah.
height. Actually, technically this is his castle, so everything's gonna be his size.
yeah.
Isn't this like his like own isn't this like his own like chamber too? Like that they're like his own archive, right?
No, I think this is the part in Lost in Utopia where Marcy presses the button and they find the secret passage.
Yeah, well like I mean more so like I gotta reread it again, but like the archive. Okay, so I think Andreas mentions something like, what's the word? Like the palace has an archive, and like I'm trying to read it here. Like,
She didn't know they had an archive to begin with.
yeah, because it says King Andreas admitted to me in private that it contains his personal collection of materials, and not many people know about it. So
Okay.
essentially, it's his private place. Essentially, like
Yeah.
private library. There we go.
Yeah,
So yeah,
I just like how there's just like another moment, where like, you know what I mean? If she just had a closer eye, just like a little bit more suspicion, because she literally said so to her this like Andrews he's trying to play it up. He's like what a secret passage, but then he picks it up and immediately flips to the page they needed. This motherfucker like he was playing. My God. He was playing her. He was playing her. Like, oh my
Oh, like he
God.
flipped through it immediately to a page that had the
Wait, he said he flipped through it immediately to a page. Like
oh,
he
I didn't
literally
even notice that.
no, and then, no, he
Yeah.
even has like the like he even has like the freaking no the bookmark thing on. Like, bro, it's just like you were just like hey, bro, this is a fucking snake. I don't know. I can't take it. This guy he wasn't even trying that hard. Like, let's be honest, he wasn't even trying to hide it. I feel like at that point he was like, "This girl's never gonna catch on." Like I'm not. Like he was like this girl, like
Nah, I
oh
get the
god.
vibe that like I don't know, because I get the vibe that Andreas thinks Marcy could figure it out to a certain degree. Like he hires Ernest to like burn down all the books about ancient Amphibia or whatever, like while he's in um while like she's in Utopia. So like I get the vibe that okay, so like this is like I always get the vibe that Andreas took Marcy and Sasha seriously, but like
Yeah.
not Anne. Like I don't know, like and by season 3 that like changes where he's like Marcy's like in a tube. So what is she gonna do? Sasha has
Mhm.
no power and no army, so fuck her. It's like and she's a big deal. You know, like we gotta take her out specifically. So I get the vibe that Andreas is trying, but like but also knows what he can get away with. You know what I mean?
And I think we had the discussion at the time, not at the time, maybe like in a season, like late season 2 episode after Andrews revealed everything. Like, maybe, like, we were speculating that the part where, like, Marcy, like, discovers the button and presses it, like, that was Andrews kind of like, he wanted to hold off from showing Marcy the temple stuff as, like, long as possible. Maybe he wanted, like, to find Sasha first. We don't know, but it's just that like since Marcy discovered the passage herself, that he kind of had to like improvise like a explanation.
Oh,
So like, he had
oh
some
that's
plan to show it to her, or maybe he thought he would discover it herself. I don't know, but like since it seems so like coincidental, maybe he was just like improvising.
I think Andreas was cool with it just because I think he was prepared for it because like Anne has the bot. Like that's really like what Andreas needs right now. Like as soon as like because I assume Andreas thought that like the box was with one of the girls, right? So like I get the vibe his plan was more like it's just especially since we get a little bit of idea in All In, like that his plan was like okay, we just need to let one of the girls bring the box to him. So like I feel like he didn't mind if Sasha wasn't there. You know what I mean? Like I guess they would need Sasha for the third temple, so he kind of got lucky with that. Like if Sasha was like dead or something, like he's a no. So like the whole plan is fucked. Like it's over. So unless they somehow complete the third temple without her, which might be possible. I'm not sure.
But I think the whole point was that like they had the power of the gems, and like the temples were draining it from them.
Oh yeah, right. That's true. So, and they don't even know. Andreas doesn't even know what happens if one of the girls dies. So, like, yeah, huh?
Yeah, even the core doesn't know. Remember, like
Yeah.
when like yeah, Anne kind of like told Darcy like, oh, like what happens if you kill me, and it's like, oh,
Marcy's like, oh, I don't know. We haven't planned for that shit. That never happened before.
Yeah. So, yeah, pretty funny. Yeah, it was all just because of Andreas, right? It's all because of Andreas. Like that's why they never really made full plans on that. He inadvertently helped in that situation, didn't he?
I wonder how like was like, you know, I'll save that when we get to the have a proposition for you like page with
mhm.
that, but
Yeah.
I'll save. I'll save.
But no, you guys you guys just reminded me of how funny that exchange was in like the beginning and the end because like you know what I mean like when Anne tricks Darcy into like sparing her just for like a good 5 minutes and then Andrews is like, do you really think the core is stupid enough to fall? And she,
And
oh,
then the core's like,
okay,
oh shit, mad if you don't know.
yeah, she's like, yeah, then she's like, shut up, Andrews. I don't know. I just love Keith David's delivery. Like, it just makes me want to rewatch. Like God, we're just so fortunate that we got Keith David of all people to play Vantress. Like, I don't think there could have been anyone else. Like, there could not have been anyone else.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Haley Chu does a great job with that. Shut up, dude. That always
Yeah,
cracks me up.
yeah,
yeah, and they kind of skip to the actually no, not skip. So like they discover this, and she knows all this during the sleepover episode, and yeah, and she's talking about like the shadowfish. Um, we never get like a teaser of what the coffin's about.
yeah. We
Yeah.
always
I mean,
always
some of
wondered.
us thought it was like the like one of
Yeah,
the hosts of the core, and
I feel like that's what it is. Like it. I feel
yeah,
like that's because we get the shadowfish, we have the mossmen. Those all play a factor into the core. I think it's pretty easy to see the coffins as a part of it. Though, like I feel like some of the coffins are like that isn't all of them. Like I get the vibe that's not all of the coffins that are in there. You know what I mean? Like because there's definitely like I know I remember people saying like there were like 7 mines or something in the core or something like, and I'm like that would kind of make the core boring as fuck. It's just seven
yeah.
people. You know what I mean? Like, but if it's like hundreds of thousands of people, like oh shit, hey, that's a big deal. You know, so like I don't know why I was going with that, but yeah, I think the coffins are the core host bodies. I would buy that.
yeah, and Entry 61's kind of like a summary of the episode, like about the gems. Hop up needs to go back to Wartwood, and sorry, I'm thinking about how
No,
like
go ahead, go ahead.
Entry 61 is because she's like, oh yeah, the planners are sad, but like I'll need Anne to help, and she's like, okay, I suggest some time to go to the aquarium, that'll help, and she puts some hearts at the end of that page, and then Entry 62 is like, I don't believe it, Joe. like,
Oh my God.
like,
So funny.
and it's
Hey,
like Anne walking out into the distance with the planners, like,
Oof,
and we get salty
oof,
Marcy. It's like
oof.
this is what I was waiting for when this journal was announced.
Uh,
what? Yeah, it's one of the things in the show that like I think I mentioned this like in the Day of the Aquarium podcast, but like a recording. Like it's one of those things that gets very well recontextualized with the beginning of the end. Like the entirety of Marcy's arc in season in Marcy's character as a whole gets completely different when we get beginning, not completely different, but like you get enough, like you get extra context with it with beginning of the end that it makes you, once you rewatch Amphibia, you're thinking about Marcy a little differently. So like, yeah, like this I like this added addition of like Marcy really only told Anne she could go and was hoping she would say no. I always thought that was Marcy like recognizing, damn, like she loves, like Anne loves her frog family so much. I think she should go with them. No, it was like it was a selfish, like, what's the word? Like it was a selfish intention. Like Marcy wants Anne to stay with her. Like she's just saying that to be nice. She's not actually saying that because she wants Anne to be happy. And like, not to like shit on, I'm not trying to shit on Marcy. It's just like it is a selfish desire there, which in of itself, the show also goes into why that selfish desire has some validity to it too. You know, so I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, yeah,
I like.
I think, yeah, I guess it just shows that I think like, yeah, Marsha's just multifaceted. Like, there's just like, because she's a person. There's like a million different like sort of motivations behind her when making that decision. Just like, yeah, because a part of her was like, oof, I'm really tearing her up. No, I don't want to laugh, but I will say her explanation it is pretty fucking funny. Like okay, I'll be serious first, but yeah, it's yeah, I don't know, yeah, because like yeah, when I saw the scene for the first time, I just thought like, oh, okay, like Marcy, she's definitely recognizing these changes in Anne, and she doesn't want to tear her away from something that makes her so gosh darn happy, but yeah, then there's also just her deeper reasons here, just yeah, how she really hoped that her doing the right thing would somehow just lead Anne back to her somehow, and it turn out like that. That's really sad. That's really sad. But it's just I don't know. I just the way she wrote it, it's just really funny because like I did suggest the idea, but only because they're all acting so sad. It's like they're just annoying her. She's just like, oh my god, all right, bye, bye, bye. Like she's like, okay, 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 okay. You get the lead. It's just like I know she doesn't mean it that way. It's just funny.
Yeah, and especially like she, the way she's describing this, it's like we're Amphibia to get closer, to enjoy this adventure together, not, and then she like crosses out whatever,
Yes.
and then talks about how like no, like Anne loves the frog, like Anne loves those little frogs.
It says
Yeah.
It's like she was about to say like something about like we can.
yes.
It's just up to like it's up to
Yeah.
interpretation, but it's like she was like kind of saying like something like waste time or like she was kind of like
It says not. It does. You can read it. It says like not grow apart. Like if you look at it carefully with the
oh
I see
yeah,
it
yeah, I
now.
can
Yeah, you're
see it,
right.
yeah. I can see like the G now that you pointed out.
Oof. I was telling you like the subtext. I was like I was saying I was saying it, like the subtext of the series. Like go like people don't want to admit it, but they had something cooking here. They might have not said it overtly, but they had something here.
I find it interesting that Marcy herself dismisses her own feelings about it though.
Yeah,
Like
she's very conflicted.
yeah, like she, I don't know. I find that interesting because it's a whole character trait of Marcy where like she has this feeling of being alone, and Marcy, not Marcy, Anne and Sasha not caring about her interests, but she sort of bottles it up. She ignores it. She doesn't like ever acknowledge it and be like, "Hey, this friendship has a problem." I feel like sometimes when not she never tells Anne directly like, "Hey, you never really listened to my interests." And again, Marcy knows her wants are selfish, but she ignores that like moral compass a bit, if that makes sense. Or, but better yet, she doesn't ignore it. What's the word? She sort of like doesn't apply that moral compass to her wants and desires. Like I don't know. I think it's interesting that she is very self-aware of her flaw, not flaw, but of her own selfishness. But she also doesn't have that understanding of herself to realize that
Mm.
want is like actually a good thing. And I like that in the show, and sees like, hey, like that that want of connection isn't an evil motivation, and she wants to forgive Marcy because of that. Like, I don't know, I like that extra addition of self-awareness by Marcy. It's a nice add-on to it.
100%.
Yeah, and yeah, I'm just looking at our page count left and time. Okay, so yeah, we do go. Yeah, like she has kind of like like okay, before we get to like the actually yeah, we can go to the entry 63. Um,
Yeah.
yeah, like Marcy's kind of like describing what we've been talking about, like drifting apart and yeah, she's talking about Anne chose to go with the planners and then the bolded stuff. It's like steer things back on track. I think Sasha said the same thing.
Did she?
Yeah, like I think during Barrel's Warhammer, it's like getting the friendship back on track, or was that True Colors? She said something similar, like about
I think it was the dinner. Like, I think it was before, like,
oh
she
yeah, she's sitting at the at Ivy and Felicia's place, and yeah, right before the
yeah,
dinner,
like, it's
and
interesting that both Sasha and Marcy want to gain power over the friendship, but they kind of do it in different ways. Like, Sasha literally tries to get power, like, over the girls and manipulate what they do and control their actions. But like, Marcy's always trying to control the girls by like sort of not manipulating, but like, what's the right word? Influencing their actions, if that makes sense. She wants it so then Anne and Sasha like her stuff and like want to do what she does all the time. That like she's willing to do anything to keep them close. You know what I mean? Even if that means trapping them in a frog world for like a couple of months, then like so be it. You know, which sounds kind of crazy, but it is crazy. But like, yeah,
and yeah, and then Andres makes the proposition, and it's like like why
Oof.
not hold off on returning to Earth? And it's like, oh man,
Yeah,
oh Marcy.
that's why it started it.
And I think we
Yeah,
did talk
her and
about
the
it
chicken
quite a bit in
fried
the.
nuggies.
Oh, go ahead, Nick.
I was just, I was just thinking something stupid. Her chicken fried nuggies, like, uh, sorry, but go ahead.
But yeah, I think we did talk about it on the A Day at the Aquarium recording. It's like the proposition and how it's like without Anne, like Andrus, like okay, Andrus underestimated Anne, but if he had to get Anne away from Marcy, and I know he didn't have to get Anne away from Marcy, but the fact that Anne, like I don't want to say abandoned Marcy, but chose the planners over Marcy, left Marcy in a very vulnerable state to be manipulated by Andreas.
yeah, and Anne doesn't know Andreas's plan either. So like, what's the word? Like,
Cause like,
I feel like they're a dumb. You go, you go.
oh no, sorry, I think you're like Andreas underestimates Anne, but if Anne was here, Andreas couldn't say this shit out loud.
Yeah, like there's
Mm.
like if Anne stuck with Marcy, like how she wanted, like well, if Anne stuck with Marcy like how Marcy wanted, none of this shit would have worked. Like the idea, like I think it's mentioned a bit earlier, but like Marcy like isn't against the idea of going home. Like not entirely. Like she definitely doesn't want to, but like when she hears about the music box, I think she says that like they'll be able to go home or to any other place or whatever. Like she's she's okay with it. But like there's also that sense of like, well, hold on, we could do something more with this box, maybe. Like we could go to like a lot of different places. I could visit Anne and Sasha all the time, or something else. Like there's a spark there that if someone influences that eventually, she'll be like, hey, maybe I don't gotta go home at all. We could do this shit like for years, like so I don't know. It's I don't blame Anne here, like for Marcy's decision. I don't think any of us do, but like there's definitely that point I think where Anne started to think like, oh shit, fuck. If I was there at day of the not a day at the aquarium, but like if I was with Marcy, like and knew what was going on with them, maybe I could have like helped Marcy out with her troubles.
Yeah, we did point out at that day of the aquarium recording how like that was kind of like the tragedy of like Anne choosing the planners over Marcy. It's like no, because we do talk about how it like affects Marcy, but like from Anne's point of view, it's like oh like her choosing the planners kind of like endangers like everything, but not because it's her fault, but just that was just the way things went
Things went,
are.
yeah.
Yeah, yeah. It's like I don't know. Honestly, I'm just getting chills again, man. It's just crazy how like it just I'm not gonna call these like casual decisions, but it's just like these episodes, like they're just they have such a pivotal effect on like the rest of the series. Like that, just the decisions made in that single day, like that just pretty much decides like the second half of the series. Like like literally, it's literally our halfway point of the show. Like that's just genuinely insane.
Hmm. And yeah, so we get a bit more about like Marcy coping, and then Andrew like entry 64 is kind of her preparing to leave Newtopia with Joe Sparrow. And I think this is when Joe wears his armor for the first time. Maybe
Oh, sweet.
I know like in an earlier entry they mentioned that they were making armor for Sparrow for Joe, but I don't think he wore it yet.
Oh, so is that like a goatee on him or something? Like you see that? Like, or is that just like?
Isn't that
That
part of
must
like
be
the
like
bird, like
no,
the
that's not a
gullet?
goatee. Yeah, yeah, part. Yeah, yeah. Never mind, never mind, never mind. Would have been honestly. I would not put it past the show to put a goatee on a bird. Like I would expect the show to put a goatee on a bird. Uh, this is pretty. Oh yeah, it's yeah. It does feel kind of. I don't know because I guess I always before this journal I always just expected Joe Sparrow to be like one of our first companions. It's just kind of funny that he was just someone she met right before she set off to Wartwood. But I don't know. But I guess it makes sense because he didn't really like talk about it much when yeah, when she met the planters and Anne for the first time because she definitely would have mentioned them. But
Oh
I guess that
right,
makes
yeah,
sense.
like she met Joe before the planners came, and she never brought him up, or he never showed
Yeah,
up. But they're in a
yeah.
small.
I guess just
Yeah, it's like
it's just I don't know. Like, I don't know. I guess just because it's like if I came with a Doylist perspective, it's probably just because I don't know. They probably just didn't really conceive Joe Sparrow until like I don't know. Honestly, maybe after they wrote that episode, it just came up with the whole idea.
and yeah, I do remember we were thinking about like how once we got the episode titles and we were visiting all three temples very quickly, we were wondering like how that was gonna work.
In comes Joe Sparrow.
Yeah, and then Joe Sparrow
Yeah,
shows up, and we're like, oh okay, fast travel.
yeah. Fast travel. Yeah, hey, Jinx, yeah. Fast travel's been added to Amphibia.
Yeah, and like that didn't even cross my mind, and even though like it should have,
Uh, yeah.
but that's just a yeah, that was a part of the time in the fandom. Uh,
Mm-hmm. Well, just look at Andrew's stupid face. He told me to let him know the moment we successfully like shut up, shut up, Andrew Jesus successfully charged the first stone. He was so excited, like I I can't read like giddy at the thought of getting the bugs working and then helping us start an adventure to new. Dude, that was pretty hot. It's too much. Like I'm dying. It's like every page this happens on. Big old softy. Like he needs to stop. He's so like I feel if this was like Anne or Sasha, I feel like it definitely would have been like wait like the one of them would have been like this ain't something. This guy's a little too eager. Like oh man.
Okay, bro. Like, keep in why I say bro. Keep in mind, like, um, it's Anne's whole like Anne the Planner's whole experience with like authority figures in Amphibia. It's like
Yeah.
they're farmers revolting for like their like to be recognized as equals, and they had and they had like run-ins with like the law and like law enforcement. And it's like and like and then like yeah, if they were there in Andrew's time, I wish because remember when Andrew said peaceful explorers and they
Yeah.
didn't they didn't have like a second thought about it. But then like through True Colors, then once Andrew started talking about like returning Utopia to its former glory, then that's when the planners and Anne were kind of like, wait,
Yeah.
hold up.
Yeah. Something was just wrong here. Something was wrong here. Now you just reminded me of that whole speech. My God, dude, True Colors was just like that episode's just phenomenal. Like it's just like you're getting me chills, and I'm just trying to read this journal.
Yeah, and we do get names for like the regions they visit. It's
Yeah,
the first temple. It's in the
amygdala.
in,
I think they might have like dropped that in the show. Actually,
oh, they did.
I think they might have mentioned it on the show. Yeah, I think so.
Okay, amygdala. I feel like there's something related to
Amygdala
the brain.
woods.
I'm looking it up right now.
Yeah, no, I think it ended up being like that.
Okay, the center of for emotions, emotional behavior, and motivation. Wait. Emotional behavior, motivation. Yeah, makes sense.
Makes sense.
And I think in a very early interview, I forgot which interview this was, but this was like a couple of months before we knew any news about. Actually, not before we had like an official preview of season 2. A couple of months earlier, Matt did an interview, and he was just talking about, oh yeah, for season 2 we had like location where we were like where we had this like location that looks like where the trees look like brains. And then I was
Oh
like,
shit.
and the only reason like, because when before we did our Matt interview, I was kind of like looking up like past interviews, and like I was like, oh wait, he was describing the first temple like that early on, like two years earlier. It's like, man.
Oh. Yeah. Wow. Yeah. I get. Dang. I guess that just shows you about animation. My God, it's just such a what's the word? I guess like delayed gratification because yeah, that's how early they were like planning a lot of this stuff years before the episode even dropped. And it's just like such a casual detail too.
Yeah, and then yeah, we get a Zelda reference. Uh yeah, Anne notices, not Anne, Marcy notices like the tension between Hop Hop and Anne.
Ooh.
And then again, Marcy's like, "Oh well, my EQ's not that high.
Yeah.
Oh well."
Well, yeah. She's like, guess she should
She's
have
just
gone with
making an
me. Like,
excuse
she's like she.
now. She's making an excuse now. She knows what's going on. She's just ignoring it. I swear.
Yeah, why? Yeah, she always. That's so funny. Why does she consistently says that? My EQ has never been that high. Maybe I'm just way off here. Yeah,
And like
you
that's
know,
bullshit.
I feel like you're definitely onto something. It's just like she keeps denying it. No, I don't. I think it's yeah. I think it's again. I think it's just her placement in the group and just what that always meant for her. Just she was supposed to be the smart one, not the emotionally intelligent one. When it's like, no, I think she can definitely read emotions. It's just I don't know. I think she's just like that's just always been who she is, and I don't think she's like really courageous enough to grow out of that. So yeah, she just keeps holding herself back.
I think there's a certain part of Marcy that tries. I feel like I might be repeating myself, but there's a certain point. I just think that Marcy just doesn't like. What's the word? Like, I feel like she's like. I feel like it's bullshit in the sense that Marcy feels like she's lying to herself. Like, Marcy's been pretty good at reading people throughout this book, usually. Like, she'll notice something's wrong, but then be like, no, I don't know what I'm talking about. Clearly, like there's nothing wrong. Everything's a-okay. It's good. Like I don't know, I don't think that goes against Marcy's characterization. I just think that's an interesting addition the journal adds. You know what I mean? So I don't know.
No, it's definitely interesting. I think it's like I guess we just got to keep going deeper. I don't know. Maybe there'll be more.
Yeah, and we get kind of the events of the first temple from Marcy's point of view. I'm looking for anything like new we can.
No, I think pretty much it's the first. Yeah, it's just Marcy retelling the first temple. I do think like the joke of Marcy writing and almost falling to the spike pit was pretty funny though. But yeah, nothing really new.
Yeah, and then we kind of got her regret for like putting everyone's lives at risk. We get it here again too.
Yeah. Oh my God. She even did in the she even it's the third entry. She even like misspelled their names here, dude. Oh my God.
I think she spells them right eventually after
Yeah,
she
she
spells
does.
them out.
She wrote Sprout. Then she like crosses it out. Spring, Penny, Ah,
But
what
she
was
spelled it
she
earlier like correctly too. But
What was she
Yeah, that
doing?
is weird. Like,
Wait a minute. Wait for it.
I kind of I would have been like
Like
as a
I guess
planner
because she
fan.
forgot. Oh, go ahead.
No, I was gonna say like as a planner fan, I probably would have been offended, but it would have been funny if like throughout the like this entire portion of the journal, she kept like misspelling Sprig and Polly's names wrong, and then got the right like at the very end,
Yeah.
like over the section.
like a
But
running joke.
Yeah.
yeah, it was like a
Like,
running joke in the journal.
My God. Oh my
that'd be
God.
funny. But I mean, what's the word? Like, I've always liked this part of. So to me, like, Marcy has this nice little fun arc with like First Temple to Maddie and Marcy, where like Marcy isn't really challenged in Amphibia, in mainly in Utopia, right? Like when she gets here, she pretty much understands how the entire world works. Essentially, like even in the journal, this is emphasized. Like Marcy's pretty much able to do whatever the fuck she wants, like when she puts her mind to it. Essentially, she isn't like super challenged in Amphibia, but then like that changes when she gets to Wartwood though, and like with the first temple. And I like that the first temple teaches Marcy humility. Yeah, she's gonna have to learn that if she's gonna learn any lessons from the next few episodes. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
Like if this was Marcy without the first temple and she tries to like do an episode focused on her, it doesn't really work because like she's not gonna learn anything. You know what I mean? Like she'll fuck up and then just keep doing what she did before. But now, like with the first temple, it gives Marcy like this. It kind of tells Marcy, hey, you're gonna have to actually, you're gonna be challenged here a little bit. This isn't gonna be like this easy romp through Amphibia, get the temples, go with your friends or whatever. You're gonna be challenged here, and you better be ready for it. And then like new Wartwood comes in and kind of does that too. And I don't know. I always like this part of Marcy's arc. It's one that it's weirdly not talked about in like when people in the fandom, which is odd because Marcy is talked about like all the fucking time. So like, but these like episodes in particular, I noticed once the show ended, no one really talks about this time with Marcy. It's odd. Maybe that's just me. Maybe I'm just not paying attention. Who knows? But like, I don't know. It's interesting.
Like, I'll bring it up a little bit later once we get to the Maddie portion of it, but I kind of agree. I kind of disagree, but I guess at this point after the first temple, okay, there's more time about Sasha and like I know this. I don't want to skip this part, but it's kind of like telling us everything we know about friendship. Is her friendship is everything means everything to her, Marcy, and yeah, she wants it to like work out. Like,
Oh, we're talking about entry 69, right?
yeah, nice.
Oh,
Yeah, I
yeah,
feel
like
like
this part is. Oh, there you go. Yeah.
no. Like yeah, like I think this has been like we've this kind of is Marcy like describing the whole dynamic they have, like what how she wants it to be like, and
Yeah, like because at this point, I didn't mention it earlier, but like Marcy is being very what's the word? Marcy's very dismissive of Anne's feelings towards Sasha. Like like she's kind of like, oh my gosh, like Anne, like get with the program. Like, why are you fighting with Sasha? Like, come on. Like we've been friends for years. Like, what are you doing? Like Marcy's never like, hold on, wait a minute. Maybe Anne's making a point. Maybe she fought with Sasha for a good reason. There's never that thought. You know what I mean? Like, and even when like Marcy has to acknowledge there's a problem, she's like, no, it's just a little snag. Doesn't matter. This friendship's great. It's all good. It's perfect. It's the best thing ever. We're gonna keep it for years to come. It's never gonna end. Like, it's it's kind of that what's the word? Like, it's almost that fear of acceptance. You know what I mean? Because if Marcy like accepts the fact that like, oh, Sasha's kind of an asshole. Oh man, Anne's been treated really poorly in this friendship. Wow, like, or man, like no one really cares about. They don't really care about my interests. Like, why is she keeping it in the first place? I feel like I said this before.
yeah,
I'm gonna repeat myself. Yeah.
and like entry 70 is kind of just like her meeting the like just her like drawing the townsfolk, and 71 I think kind of like there's nothing new about like the lesson in New Wartwood.
Yeah, it doesn't change a lot of this part. I'm noticing it doesn't change too much about what happens in the show.
Yeah, they do mention
And
that they
like,
had that squid from Lily Pad Thai.
yeah, that was cute. I like that.
I mean, I guess it didn't spoil. Like, I don't know how they refrigerate their food.
Yeah.
Or,
Who knows? Who
I mean,
knows?
I know, like in the back, that usually you just add a bunch of salt on it to preserve like the seafood and the meat.
I don't know. Amphibious technology is mad weird because sometimes they have like modern shit, but it's just like a bug.
Yeah, it's like
You know what I
they have a bug
mean?
for everything. Like,
Yeah.
and then we get to like the friend or Frobo stuff. Yeah, I like how she has like a little like half a page about the seed stuff, and and then it goes to like
That
I
was
think
funny.
we go to like I think 2 pages of like just her going into Frobo, like her like just like kind of
Marsh is
like
a big Frobo fan.
yeah, like
Oh my
observing
god, yeah, it,
Frobo,
it
and
it just keeps. Holy crap, yeah, it just keeps going. My god.
yeah,
Oh, whoa.
it's very
Yeah,
like I think this is the only time in the journal where she gets like super like in depth to something.
yeah.
Because I know
Wow.
sometimes we'll get like a
Yeah.
page of one thing and a page of another, but it's like here it's like it's nice. I'm a Frobo fan, so it's like she's
Yeah.
Go into
Yeah.
Wait, so we always knew that the rules of the road book influenced Frobo, right?
No, that was
That was
always.
confirmed.
Oh my god, that's like I was dying to talk because like when the show first came, like when the episode first aired, that was like everyone's like speculation about like why like even before we knew about like what why Frobo was doing what he was doing. It's like there's speculation that the rules of the road did have some sort of influence on Frobo. We just didn't know how. But like seeing it confirmed here is like so great. Like it's I think it's
It's
like
weird.
oh
I
go ahead
always
in
just made
fact.
that assumption. Like, yeah, like when I was watching the show, I'm like, okay, so like my theories on Frobo were like, okay, so maybe the rules influenced him somehow because like by True Colors, right? All the robots we see are like killer, evil robots. They kill people, whatever, right? They kill twice. But like, yeah, like they're bad. Like they're designed for bad purposes. So like with Frobo, it was like, okay, so why is that different though? Why is he not trying to kill Polly or whatever? So that was the assumption I had. That was always like I thought that was just like canon when I was reading it. And I had to think about it. I'm like, oh shit, they don't confirm that in the show, right? Like, I guess not. Okay, and then go film it. I didn't know it was like a debate. That was always my assumption.
It wasn't really a
Yeah.
debate. It was just like never officially confirmed, so no one could really like say it was like officially a thing.
Oh, okay. Because
No,
oh, Nick, you go.
yeah, I mean, I was gonna say, did no one ever ask like Matt in like a Q and A or something? Because it seems like a very good Q&A question. I mean, just asking if like it was influenced by like the rules of the road book.
Because I think the only Q&A we had around that time was oh, you mean like even after True Colors, no one asked about that.
Yeah, just like anytime, you know what I mean? I don't know. It just feels like it seems like a nice, innocent throwaway question to ask. So I'm surprised that it was never really like. I don't know, well, honestly, maybe he just never really got the chance to be seen. Honestly, I'm not sure.
That feels like one of those tiny questions someone has to really think about. Like, I don't know, because like I feel like it depends on when Matt had another interview because it's like did Matt have like an interview like
After Marcy the Gates.
after this?
Oh no, oh yeah, after this, yeah, there was a couple.
Like I mean like after this, but before True Colors. Because like if you have an interview
No, there was no.
after True Colors, then like yeah, this question ain't gonna be asked.
There's no interviews between before and before the duration, like before 2B, there weren't any interviews.
Mm.
Oh wow. Okay.
I mean,
Okay.
before like Matt did the Q&A, the AMA on the subreddit, and then between that and True Colors, there weren't any. Oh no, there was like a Matt and like the main cast had like an interview, and that's when we got like the teaser for Battle of the
Oh
Bands.
yeah.
But yeah, it never came up.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah, so then yeah, she goes like, she mentions like Frobo can have multiple tools, cooking appliance to a weapon of war, and then in the last like sentence of this like paragraph, she's like, I think Frobo was meant for something else, for a purpose, but what? It's like
Hmm.
Marcy, it's right there.
Again, Marcy has all the tools, dude. Like she has all the tools to complete the story. Like, fuck. God damn
Yeah, and then and she kind of like, so apparently, okay, apparently she broke Frobo, like, and she had to like repair him throughout the.
Well, wait, don't we knew he exploded, right? In Total Redemption. So like
Like she just showed like a explosion. Like we don't see what happened inside, but she was like, "Oh, fascinating!" After the explosion.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, I don't know why that was so funny,
But then here she's like, oh yeah, like she's like, Frobo needs some repairs now. Okay, fine, major repairs. But that's just a minor thing. That's just a minor
or
note.
Frobo.
And I think I think Impact. You wanted to talk about entry 74. This is Marcy and Maddie.
Oh yeah, like I don't know. Wait, did I say I want to talk about 74? I don't remember me saying that. I thought I just said
Oh no, I think you want.
like
I think I kind of like stopped you from talking about Marcy and Maddie because like we were a bit earlier on we were a few pages early.
I honestly like
Okay, but like,
honestly I don't remember me talking about that.
or I think
To
maybe
be honest, like
maybe it
I
was
think it might have blanked out.
okay. Maybe it was Nick because I think we were talking about how like okay, oh the I remember I was like gonna disagree. Like I kind of agreed with you and disagreed with you about like these
Oh
pages and
yeah,
like how like once we got to like the Maddie and Marcy stuff, this is when we get a lot more like a bit of insight. And I think the fandom kind of like talks about not exactly Marcy and Maddie the episode itself, but just like what it could have been for Marcy. Because like I think
oh yeah,
because
yeah.
a big
Mm.
problem I had with the Marcy and Maddie episode was that like I'm not like you guys know already. Like I
Like
understand why
like the
Marcy is
fake
the character she
long.
is, but like when you have an episode like Marcy and Maddie, I kind of expected a bit more from Marcy.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And
that's
then
fair. That's fair.
the book kind of like gave me what I wanted in the episode about how like she
Which
has
is
like someone like to talk to, like another friend basically. And the episode itself doesn't really address that for Marcy, which is something I think
that
kind of like lowered my enjoyment of the episode. But I think
that's fair. Yeah,
yeah,
I know Maddie and Marcy are is yeah. I noticed that too. I felt like okay, hold on. I feel like my perspective is a little fucked with season 2 because it's like I always see stuff in like from a I guess a past perspective. I never was at the current moment talking about the season. So like when Maddie and Marcy is usually talked about when I was in the fandom during season 3, it was usually talked about like because of Marcy's absence in the season or of lost potential for the character because of where she's at in that part. You know what I mean? Like, what's the word? Because I actually agree with you, Thumb, that I think Marcy should have had a bit more focus because it's a Maddie episode specifically. I felt like I don't know. I'm not sure where I was going with that,
because
but
like
I do agree with you to a certain degree.
yeah,
Yeah.
because like my hot take was that like if this episode wasn't gonna be about Marcy and was more of a Maddie episode and like a Maddie and her sisters episode, then like Marcy wasn't the best person to have in this episode. I honestly thought like Frobo and Polly would be a way more
Oh
better fit
wow.
for the plot of that episode.
Ooh. Another.
Yeah, and
Okay.
like Maddie's relationship with Marcy like doesn't play a role any other time, unfortunately.
Mm,
Like I it's even in the ending, it's like because Maddie is really the only amphibian friend Marcy has that's like that like Marcy knows well. Like Olivia and Yunan don't fucking count. I'm sorry, guys. Like
Ooh.
they don't.
Ooh.
Like,
Ooh.
like but it's true. Like she doesn't know them. Like
damn.
she, like
Yeah.
I'm
Yeah.
sorry. And
I mean,
Andrews
yeah,
like
that's fair.
stabbed
That's
her in the
fair.
chest. Like
Yeah.
you
Yeah.
know, like like Maddie was like the closest thing, honestly, that Marcy had to like that amphibious friend to me. Like, so I don't know. It's I wouldn't call Maddie and Marcy completely wasted potential. I mean, I personally like the episode for Maddie, but I don't know. Like, I don't know. I felt like even in the ending, it would have been nice if Maddie and Marcy got something. You know what I mean? I don't know.
No, I mean, I definitely see. I think, yeah. I mean, I don't know. It's
But yeah, that was gonna
it's
be.
it's
I'm gonna bring up that kind of talk in our season retrospectives.
Oh
okay.
yeah.
All right, yeah. Let's keep it at that then. That's fine.
But like, but yeah, we do. I do. This journal really helped me like appreciate that episode a bit more. Um, nah.
Bro, what?
He's taking it back. He's taking it back. He's like,
I mean, okay,
okay,
entry
well,
75.
exactly.
Okay, like the the second
Oh God,
okay, as much
the
as I love
stupid
the Second
song.
Temple stuff, it's like it's all I think kind of like it's mostly a recap of the Second Temple. Um,
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm trying to look for something new about it.
It's sad too because I think the journal has the most opportunity to like for Marcy to theory craft about like Valeriana because she has all the ancient texts or whatever. I know she doesn't translate them, but like I don't know because I never minded that we didn't get this stuff about Valeriana in the show, but like I consider the journal like a nice like perspective shift of Amphibia that like you have this set up in like the first act of the journal. You can easily use this in the second act in some way. Like I know I guess I would break canon a little bit if Marcy like theory craft or like got something right out of Valeriana, but I don't know. Like this like it's pretty much just a recap. Like
I
yeah, like there was something they could have did. Hopefully you guys are knowing what I mean. I'm kind of rambling here,
yeah, I think we
but
talked about in the first part of the journal when we got the Valeriana lore. But I
yeah.
do like how Marcy brings up how like Valeriana's magic is not like Maddie magic.
Oh yeah, it's a good point. It's like a different kind of
Yeah, like and even like when this episode came out, we were kind of like Valeriana was like a very big like was like the biggest question mark in terms of like lore until the journal kind of like pieced stuff together. Um,
yeah, because like Valeriana was she like using magic in her first appearance? No, right?
no,
I don't remember her doing. Yeah, like this second temple was like the point where where I think it's yeah, like you would question like, wait, what the fuck is this go about? So yeah.
yeah. So the second gem is charged. Um,
No questions about it.
yeah, those little meta things and entry 76. We have the Bessie and Michelangelo episode, like with the side plot of like Anne getting the armor. Um, yeah, and like she brings up that she knows Bernardo.
Bernardo. I don't know how this show. I feel like this show is. This is yeah. I think Amphibia is definitely just one of those shows that's just like so good at making like this. I don't know, just essentially this one-off character feel iconic. Like Bernard, I don't know because Bernardo he stole the scene when he was dropped into this episode. I don't know how he was just fun. He was just fun, and like we've seen so many like sort of like you know what I mean, like those sort of like fashion obsessed characters. Like we've seen so many of them, but Bernardo just felt fresh. He was just fun, but not to show too much attention. But yeah, I don't know. This is just like a really interesting page. There's another meta nod, of course, like um like Anne has a perfectly good sword too, actually, and she keeps grabbing the much rustier one. Every time we go out on a mission, this girl needs to learn some inventory management. It's the things like that that make this journal really worth it.
Yeah, that was funny. Yeah, like because I know
Yeah.
a
Impact.
lot of
You know how much we were bothered by that.
yeah, like she would never use the blue sword until like Newts and Tights, and it's like then she doesn't use it again
Yeah,
in Fight or Flight,
yeah,
and then she kind of has it in like okay, like she doesn't have it with her in the beginning of the end, but all of a sudden she has it with her in All In. Like that was weird.
yeah.
She just has
It
it
was
on, by
like,
the way.
it was
It's
so
on
funny.
her like
It was really
in I don't
funny.
know. It's it's very
It was
funny.
just
Yes.
like it was just funny. Like the sword. It was just I don't even know what to say. Like the sword was just there when they needed it, I guess.
Yeah, and
Yeah, I mean, to be fair, I do like how they use the sword in All In a little bit. I like
Oh wow.
the
Like,
whole like
my God, yeah, that
force
was really good. Yeah,
thing.
yeah, when it like spun in the air, carved through the ground, like yeah, that was awesome.
Yeah, it wasn't even supposed to be in like All In either. Like it was like the storyboard was like completely different for that scene too. Like she didn't
Yeah.
even have the sword or anything. So it's like a last minute addition.
yeah, and we get the part about Anne's new look, and of course Marcy has to be like, she talks about how Anne has like changed, and she just has to write like, see what a good adventure can do. It's like Marcy. It's like
There it is.
Yeah, the
the
God,
cope.
she like yeah, it sucks because like I like that Marcy is like recognizing Anne is growing as a person, but I never like how she kind of uses it as an excuse for what she did. You know what I mean? Like that always felt a little. I'm trying to not be mean to Marcy here, but it does feel a little scummy. You know what I mean? Like she's like,
Mm.
yeah, like it feels like disingenuous to Anne's growth. Like because Marcy's acting like, oh yeah, see, like that's why I brought you guys here, so you guys could grow, whatever. It was a good thing. See, like she makes it as an excuse. Like I don't know. Like I know she does it in true colors, but like I guess I always kind of assumed that was because Marcy is in panic mode right now, like in that moment. So like I always take what she says with a little bit of grain of salt. You know what I mean? Like a touch of it. So I never felt like upset about it. But like, I don't know, in the journal it's a lot more like what's the word? Like
Calculating.
yeah, like it's not like she's in a peer pressure situation. You know what I mean? Like because again, in True Colors, she's outed by Andreas, and then she has to like think fast about like some excuse or something.
Yeah.
Like that was like, all right, that's what she's saying is crazy a little bit. Well, it is. But like I also don't feel like the character is being dismissive of Sasha and Anne's growth in this story. You know? I don't know.
Yeah,
Oh,
and
it's like
oh, go ahead, Nick.
yeah, I was just gonna say like just real quick to respond to that. Yeah, it's just like yeah, like I think yeah, she just knows she really, really, really screwed up and like yeah, just anything that can like take away that guilt for even 1 second, right? Like, yeah, she's definitely just gonna hop in that. Just seeing Anne just really get to blossom into herself here. Like, she's like, okay, maybe, maybe I did make the right choice. Maybe that wasn't so bad after all.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, and then we get the third temple stuff, and I'm looking at it. We don't get the name of the. I think the name of the volcano was on the map. Let me open it up over
Let me
here.
see.
Death's Eye Mountain. Yeah.
Death Eyes Mountain, like Death Mountain. I get it. That's good.
Yeah, and then Marcy makes that little side. It's like, oh, we're picking up momentum on this quest. And it's like the end, or should I say the
Oh,
beginning? Hee. It's like,
oh wait, just one more thing. Like I didn't even notice so Barrow's Warhammer takes place near the North Tower, right?
yeah,
Like
it's nearby the
yeah, I never I always so my assumption was like this makes no sense the more I think about it, but like Ann like not Ann, Sasha and Grime had to like track them for a while. You know what I mean? Like not like super long because I didn't think Barrel's Warhammer and like the Third Temple was like a long time gap, but like I always thought it was like a couple of days they had to like try to track Anne and Marcy, but like nah, they were pretty much right there. Like they could have just saw Anne and Marcy flying to the temple and then just went from there. You know, it's not that large of a track. If that
so
makes sense.
and actually so Toadcatcher happened in Loggington, and slightly slightly west of the second temple, Mount Mutu. And
Yeah.
so they kind of like walked west to the North Tower, did Barrel's Warhammer, and then they walked just up a bit. But then that means
Oh
like
wow, they were damn. They went really far. I always assumed they were like.
well,
I always assumed that like they were decently close to Wartwood. They weren't like all the way across like Amphibia. I never,
yeah, so probably after the events of Reunion, they somehow got to Loggington. So I guess they kind of, but then they would have needed like a head
Video
start.
crap.
But like, okay, we don't know the timeline, so like maybe they started walking to Loggington the same time that what's it called? Maybe Sasha and Grime left like maybe like a week or two earlier before the planners got on the wagon to get to Loggington because they were technically on the run.
yeah. Like I assume because okay, there's a pretty good assumption that what happened was, oh wow, then like what's the word like. Then Bog and like everyone else like must have dipped out really early then because I don't see like it's not like okay because Bog and everyone else was with Sasha and Grime for a while, and then they dipped eventually. So it's like I assume they get out like this is so weird if you don't have the book, but I mean then again you wouldn't be watching this podcast if you didn't have the at least the map. So or not the map, the whole journal, but
But
there's no like visual
Bog and the others
indication.
never left. They never left Frog Valley, I think.
Did they? Well, I always thought they like were with Grime for a while and they were like fuck this shit and then just dipped
Oh, okay,
eventually
that's
like
true.
that yeah like so I could that actually kind of adds to it because they have to walk so far from like the South Tower to Loggington that like yeah but wait so now I'm thinking oh my god now I'm overthinking this because you
Yeah,
why does Yunnan have to use a boat to get there whatever
yeah, we're overthinking this because like
yeah
by the time we reach the beginning of the end, it's like they just walk to Newtopia in one night, which is
yeah they just warp there essentially
yeah. So it's
yeah
like third temple stuff. They yeah, I'm gonna be real with you. Like I kind of want to like speed through entry 78 because like it's basically like we get the same thing. We get retelling, and then it's Marcy. Like Marcy sees Sasha. That's a very important moment.
fangirling over her, yeah, which
Fangirling.
Yeah, that's all it
yeah.
is to this. It's like
Pogger.
I thought it was funny.
I know it is.
Honestly.
It is funny. It's just like
Pogger.
literally, it's great. It's just like there's nothing like new about this. It's like even even when with just the show, we were talking about how like, oh, Marcy kind of just like keeps commenting on like Sasha's armor and whatever, and like she's doing the same thing here. And it's like because I think
Yeah.
it's because Sasha kind of had the because like Marcy had like a very like um I don't want to say narrow-minded idea of what she was expecting Sasha and Anne to be having like the same adventures as her. And
Yeah.
like she was like visualing like a kind of like outfit they'd be wearing while here, and like they're on their own adventures, and Anne kind of didn't really fit that mold, or it didn't
Yeah.
fit that vision Marcy had, but like Sasha does it. Like seeing Sasha in this armor kind of like reinforces what Marcy's idea of the adventure Amphibia would be like.
Yeah. Because I also think that adds a lot to also that in of itself. I think Sasha and Marcy being more geared up than Anne kind of like what's the right word? Because to me, like I always felt like Sasha was also living her power fantasy too, like Marcy was in that sense. So they're both like geared up and like Amphibia works for them essentially. Like how do I say this? Like I pretty much just said what I wanted to. Like yeah, like Sasha and Marcy are like Amphibia works for them. Like they don't work for Amphibia. They don't change for the place they're at unless Anne shows up and then she starts fucking things up with them. At least that's what they think. So like I don't know. Yeah, that's it.
Yeah, and yeah, we kind of get like Marcy's kind of describing the relationship between Sasha and Anne at the moment, and how it's not like the foundations remains rock solid, but we kind of know where it's heading, like what it's actually like, what's really going on behind the scenes, and um, yeah, same thing on entry 79.
Yeah, pretty much. The red gem is charged. Okay. I,
Oh, we're calling it red now.
yeah, like I thought it was God, that ain't red. Yeah, okay, like that's not it's pink. Okay, like that's not red, but whatever. I don't care what Marcy says. It's not red.
Yeah, I remember we had like a whole argument about like what color the gem is. It's like it's not even colored red. It's like there's stuff on the
Yeah,
page that
she's
is
lying.
red.
Yeah, she's lying. It's not red. Marcy's a liar. Like, come
I'm sorry, I'm looking at the comment, like the chat. RG who's saying she's colorblind. um, Pickle saying put in specifically to troll the fans, maybe.
Oh yeah, that definitely did that. There's
Oh,
no like, it's not. It's
and it's funny how like how in that episode like Anne and Sasha kind of like go off to like talk a little bit, like they kind of like go away from the rest of the group just to chat privately, but Marcy's watching from afar.
She's drawing them too.
Yeah.
Like...
And I guess entry 80 we have the dinner.
yeah. So, like, did anyone else get the vibe that the dinner was Anne's idea and not Marcy's? Like, I I always assumed that Anne was the one who wanted to do the dinner and Marcy wasn't one who got the idea. Like,
Yeah, that was my impression of it too.
yeah. So that's I mean, it doesn't change that much. I guess it adds to Marcy being the girl in power in season 2 because she's really the one who controls the plot. Once we get to Newtopia, like the story moves when Marcy does something. The plot moves when Marcy does something. Like when she finds something about the box or whatever, or the temple. When she shows up, we start doing the temple quest, right? Like Marcy's using the one moving the story around. So her being the one to kind of have the idea for to have a dinner with Sasha and Grime, like I still think works. It's just like I always thought it was Anne because it added to like Anne wanting to. It almost added to Sasha's tragedy in True Colors and Turning Point because Anne is really trying her best to like build that friendship with Sasha, and she's trying to work things out. And Sasha is pretty much just like drew it back in her face, like, and that's what causes that conflict in True Colors, and Sasha to start crying for like a whole episode. So, yeah.
And on this page, it's they're kind of writing how they make it more how to describe it, I guess up to interpretation whether or not like Marcy actually was 100% certain knowing how to get back to Earth at this point, because the box is charged now with all
Oh,
3 gems. And then Marcy's like, I think
oh,
I can do it, but like I told him that I can't. Like we should get to Andrea's first. It's like just kind of like wishy washy, or like kind of like uncertain, not uncertain. Like she's like not so sure of herself, even though it's like maybe she's just saying that.
to not get the idea that, oh yeah, I can send Anne and Sasha back home right here, right now, at any time. Like she's kind of like, no, I don't know how to do it. I don't know how to get to Earth. I barely know how the box works. I'm not responsible for this. Andreas can handle this. Like, yeah, kind of like that, pretty much.
And she was like, maybe I can tune it to Ert's musical signature, but then she's like, that's
Frequency.
the last world I'm trying to jump to. It's like,
Yeah. I'm trying to see if there's anything else that I'm missing from this. I don't see anything. Like,
I guess
I guess they all slept in the wagon. That's a new detail, I guess. So,
oh, at the end of the dinner, yeah.
yeah.
Oh, and Chuck's repairing the house, and and one night,
Yeah. Yeah, that's why I always assumed that happened. Like, yeah, because, yeah, I don't need to explain that.
let's see.
Yeah, there isn't, like, oh, I guess, like, with the next entry, like, 81, like, I think Matt talked something about the Anne's lyrics here. I forget exactly
Oh, these
you
are
might notice more than.
yeah, these are the actual notes from I forgot who. Like these are like actual like sketches, not sketches, like brainstorming for the actual episode that they just like included in the like these are like actual like them trying to figure out what new like what
Oh,
big no big deal is gonna be about. I forgot it wasn't T.J. Hill. Someone else wrote the song.
Yeah, it was someone else. Wasn't it like a?
Oh,
Wasn't it
Chuck.
gonna be like a theme song to the show or something?
Yeah, Chuck's got
Can't
the
remember.
notes up. Songwriter Adam Gubman. The creative notes while
Yeah, there it
writing
is.
writing the
There it
song.
is. Yeah, that's really cool. Is no big deal. Yeah, it's crazy. It's crazy.
I'm trying to, like, yeah, I'm trying to think of more to say about these pages, but again, it is a lot of recap. This, I'm gonna be honest, like, I think this middle sort section, like, I'll save it for the end.
Okay. Yeah, we're almost through it.
Almost done.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, the ballad band stuff. It's like, yeah, it's kind of. I went back to 81. Yeah, it looks kind of like more of a recap.
Yeah. And then we get like
82.
82. Yeah, you see the
Yeah, the notes.
the
Yeah.
No, the pages in the.
no.
Oh, okay, I see it.
Yeah, the burning pages.
Oof.
Yeah.
But like on
Yeah.
this page, it's like
Oof.
we never actually got to see like we did see Anne saying goodbye to Wartwood, like
In Battle of the
in
Bands,
Battle of the
yeah.
Bands. It was like here we get to see her like waving by and going. I wish we never got like a proper goodbye to the planner home. I think like in my like
Yeah.
for me.
Yeah, it always tugs at my heart.
Oh,
You know what I mean? Like, it always tugs at my heart. Like, you know, it's like the last part, like the man, it's hitting hard now. But yeah,
Like we do like it does
when they
like
just drop the house.
they are back there in 3B, but it's more of like it's not like a home. It's more of like a headquarters at that point.
Yeah, pretty much.
yeah. Like I mean, like yeah. I mean, I don't know. I never felt super unsatisfied with it. Like we get like a whole picture of like the entire like cast in Wartwood and some characters that like we've seen throughout season 2, like Nettles and stuff in the background. So it's like I I don't know. I felt like we had a decent like farewell to it that worked with the episode to me.
No,
Like,
I do agree. Like this was a very good like twisted goodbye for Wartwood. It's like Wartwood itself. I was talking about more of like the planner home itself. Because
oh yeah.
because you do like when Sasha walks back into it in Turning Point, it's kind of like Sasha kind of feels dirty, like even just like stepping into the house, and it's because like the planners themselves and Anne and I guess us, we didn't really get a proper like
Goodbye to
goodbye to the
it. Like the last
house.
time. Oh, I guess because the last time we see the house is like, what is it? It's when like Anne, Sasha, and Marcy are jamming out and practicing, and then like
And then
that's
later,
it, right?
like later, Sasha just like walks back in, and it's empty, and like Anne's stuff's just all over the floor, and
Yeah, like okay, that part in Turning Point was always a little weird because it's like,
but it kind of felt
what's the
like it felt
word?
wrong for Sasha to step back in, but like I think that was like kind of the point, and
Yeah,
it felt really weird, like
yeah. I'm not sure how to explain it. I lost the thought, but like, yeah. Um, Marcy's going like this is just the first chapter, and there's a whole book left to go. I shouldn't be laughing because it's
Yeah.
like the one, but...
Well, at least you know.
wait, yo, like oh my gosh, this last paragraph is so, like the way she's like talking about her like parent, not her parents, just like that situation.
Like I'm sorry, mom and dad. And,
I'm
yeah.
not
My
coming back for a
God.
while. It's like move our home to wherever you want.
Oh.
I've made better like myself a better one. It's like yo, like
Wow, yo.
with people who really get me and
Yeah.
actually care about me. It's like, oh, Marcy, why are you?
Yeah,
No,
she's just mad. Dang, that's
It's like, God,
oof.
Marcy, why are you saying that? Like,
God, she,
the three of us belong
oof.
together forever. It's like,
uh,
oh, and she's like drawing a sketch of them, just like,
Yeah,
yeah, it's
she thought.
yeah,
yeah. And then the next page is kind of just like regrets and
yeah.
Yikes.
It's all Marcy writing during True Colors, so it's like, which is weird because I don't know, like,
yeah, she didn't
like,
write anything.
She has
She didn't write anything like
in the
yeah,
episode.
going. I I kind of was expecting her to write stuff like while they're flying to Newtopia
Yeah,
and like kind of like,
yeah.
oh, like Sasha betrayed us or something. But yeah, she doesn't start writing anything about True Colors until
Oof.
after he lies. Like after like Andrew
Yeah,
just makes like has his mask off moment. And then like, okay, imagine her like picking up Spring and Spring's like freaking out. She's like, quick,
Yeah.
I gotta get a line.
Yeah. Like, 1 second, Spring. 1 second.
yeah.
1 second. One second. 1 second.
I feel like I shouldn't be laughing, yo, because like
She's like 1 second. 1 second. 1 second. 1
It's
second.
like my words per minute has like significantly dropped. I have to.
yeah, this part is very weird to like. This part feels weird, like because I feel like Marcy shouldn't be able to write here. There's a sense of like disbelief with this, where it's like, there's no way Marcy's actually writing this during the fight, like, and like, okay, that's actually the next part. I can't mention that, but
I mean,
like,
she could have been writing all this like while on Joe, and then after that it's the rest.
oh
Yeah,
yeah,
like
that's a good
I don't think
point.
she like
That's a good
because yeah,
point.
there's no way she was writing this like during the fight like that we see after she picks up
Well,
Sprig.
well, I say that because okay, like
Like I okay,
I guess that depends on when Anne gets the journal because the pages are burnt, so it's like I don't know. Because okay, so the reason why I'm thinking she wouldn't have wrote it, okay, it makes sense for her to have wrote it there on Joe, but then when did she give Anne the book? Like, and how would the pages be burnt if, like, fuck, I'm thinking about this too much. I don't think like you're supposed
Yeah.
to think about it too much. Yeah, like
Yeah. I felt like this was just them trying to do something cool from
like
the ending of True Colors, honestly.
yeah, I would have
Because
yeah,
pref-
you have
it's just like was she like quickly trying to write all this as she was like crumbling to her
no, I don't think that was the
like
case. I think like because she was like trying to
yeah.
like get the box to work. I think this was just all in Joe, but like yeah, the burnt page mark is kind of like a little like extra in this case.
Well,
yeah, like I yeah, you don't if you think about it too much, it makes no sense because like
Like
I'm not even gonna try.
I would have I
Yeah.
would have preferred if more pages of the book were like starting to get burned like way earlier on. Like if it was like if they went from like the part where after Anne leaves to like this point and like the pages slowly get more and more burned, and then maybe from Anne's section onward like the pages get like less burned. I would have preferred that, but like it might have like messed up with the like aesthetic of the book too much.
yeah. Yeah, I see. I think no, I think it would have still worked, but like I think the burnt page being on like entry 84 and then pretty much we're going a little too far, but like essentially after new normal there being no burnt pages, I'd be okay with that. Like but like during those portions I would be okay with like a little bit.
Hmm.
So yeah.
But yeah, that gets us to
That's
I guess
there we
Wow.
go.
well how we describe like the second portion of the journal. I guess
Can't believe it.
I mean I guess I don't really have as much to say, but I'm guessing Impact you had some stuff, so I'll save you for last. But like, how do I describe this? It's like the first portion of the journal, like with Marcy, kind of gave us like a lot of new stuff about the world. Um, which was nice. And like the second part had like a lot of like recap stuff, and I think this section of the book was at its best when it was kind of like delving into like the Marcy reactions that we couldn't really see on the like that we didn't see in the show.
Yeah.
Like the temple stuff I think was kind of weak. Not weak, it's just like I didn't really learn anything new from those pages.
Mm-hmm.
Even though like those were like episodes were kind of like the like a big highlight for a lot of people. Like the episode like the episodes themselves like were very like were very big. Like I enjoyed them a lot, and I think the fandom kind of like you know
Really enjoyed them.
yeah, like that kind of like attracted like a very like specific kind of fan, like type of fan to the show. But like the journal sections themselves were kind of like light on them, which is fine. Uh, but yeah, it was still fun though to like see like a few more notes. I think that's all I kind of have to say for now. I think maybe for the next entry, I'll probably like have a
It's
clearer
time to
like
pop off.
pardon.
I was gonna say it's time to pop off.
Yeah, like I guess Nick, what are your thoughts on this part
Dude, just
two?
really fun. Like I'm like, I felt bad because it felt like anytime you guys would like jump into like this really big discussion about the pages, I'd be laughing at her and saying something about like chicken nuggets, but I don't know, like it's just it was really fucking funny, and like that's also what I really love about Amphibia, just like their ability to also just like have as much fun as like drama and just heartache they add to the show, and like yeah, there was like lots of it here, and I just had a hell of a time with each page.
All right, thanks, Nick. Impact. What are your thoughts on part two?
So I think like the preference I love the whole journal pretty much. Like there wasn't really like a time where like I would tell someone to like to not like you don't have like you can skip this part. I wouldn't say that to anyone here, especially reading the whole thing. Like but I do think this second part of the journal is sort of my least favorite part of it. I really like the first section because it gives you a lot of like it adds a lot.
Impact.
But not like to a point where like all this stuff should have. Huh?
I think you kind of got cut off a bit. So I think you mentioned like
Oh,
the first part of the journal gave a lot of. I think I know what you're gonna say, but I think you should just bring it up.
yeah. It gave it essentially fleshed out a lot of things in Marcy's story that I feel like were always there, but just like gave more emphasis to. I feel like this second part could kind of end up being a lot of recap of the story, and like I think the extra stuff we got from Marcy's perspective is really fun, but it's definitely my least favorite part of the book. Like when if I ever have to reread the journal again, I'll kind of be like, the temple stuff is fun, I guess. The art's always great, so like it's always like a super plus. So, but if I'm coming back to the journal, I'm probably coming back more to like the first section that we talked about before, or the third one that we're gonna get to next time. And that one's really fun. So, but the second part is kind of like stuff you see in the show, but it's just more Marcy's detailed thoughts. It's if Marcy was the main character, essentially. So like it's her thoughts on everything. So yeah. That's pretty much it.
All right, thank you, Impact. And yeah, I think we can wrap it up now. Like wrap it up from here. And next time we're going to cover the final portion of the journal, which is going to be mostly Anne, a bit of Marcy, and a bit of Marcy at the end. So that's going to be. I'm trying to compare the page counts, like just by looking at the thickness of the each section.
You can always just look at the entry. You won't see like any.
But
Well,
yeah,
actually, you might see spoilers.
the I think someone's mic is repeating me, or but I think like the entry numbers, even though there's like an entry, it might go on for like more than like 2 pages, and so it's harder for me to like gauge from that. Wait, unless
That's
I'm
true. Well, no, you're right because Anne kind of writes a little more than Marcy, so it's like she has less pictures. She has a lot more writing in her entries. So yeah, you're right. Like there'll be entries that last like about two. I think there's a 3-page one. I might be wrong about that, but yeah.
Okay. But yeah, well, that'll be fun, and we're gonna spend probably like 8 hours in total time of this journal about this book.
Yeah.
But that's fine. That's why we're doing this. Uh, all right, but that's it for today, and thanks for listening, and see you guys next time. Say goodbye, everyone.
See you guys.
Peace, everybody.
Bye bye.
See ya.